I made it. Now it's time to stamp down my little place where I'm going to hang my hammock. Woo, buddy!
I don't know how cold it's going to get. Maybe 0. It was calling for about like 12 below, but unless it really drops tonight, I don't know. But I'm just out here shaking out my winter gear. I'm just kind of feeling it out, reminding myself how to winter camp. I didn't come in too far because the snow was pretty deep up here. They had a big snowstorm maybe a week ago, maybe a little longer, but snow was about up to my knee out here when I walk around in my mucklucks. A little bit of snow falling right now. We are supposed to have 1 to 3 inches of snow, so I'm excited about that. Woo, buddy! And I'm looking forward to a long slumber tonight. Crawling in there, it's going to be dark by about 4:30, so it gets dark early. The Lord of Lollygag will be doing his thing here, but beautiful up here, man. It's just a light breeze coming through. And I'll hunker down tonight, pitch that corner down, get myself all good and snuggled up in there. This is really quiet. Wind is kind of going up the hill where I am. Yes, sir. Oh, that's a pretty boil. Get her. Need to get the bits out of there. Get the shag nasties out. Yeah, that's it. I got a bear box, got a food vault right here to kind of work on. And tonight's dinner gonna be the Camp Chow single. That's a chili mac right there. Pretty excited about a chili mac right here from Minnesota. Camp Chow, made right there in Trail Center on the Gunflint Trail. Yes, sir. I love that it's getting dark now. It's only 4:30. Man, I'm gonna get this dinner ready, mess around a little bit, and I'm gonna crawl in. I'm gonna lay there. I don't know why. Why not? I got a hammock and I'm just excited to be in it. And, you know, sometimes when you're just kind of out here by yourself, you might as well just go to sleep early. Early! I was having myself a lovely cup of tea. I'll have myself a P&G tip. Right, too right. All right. Yes, sir. That there. Oh, that's a birdie boil. I also have myself a tiny packet of HP sauce. That will go into my chili mac. It's sort of your British A1 sauce. And I'm having a McVitie's Trio bar. Very tiny. There's my hand. There's the Trio. So I have to enjoy every little bite of that. For winter, I kind of prefer the big full 9-hour candle lantern. Just got a better, bigger, flamed And then in a bit, I'll be crawling in there, man. I got my new war bonnet. Severe weather down hood, dark winter. Got my war bonnet Eldorado. Jacks are better High Sierra Sniveler rated down to about -5. And my Loco Libre Mucho Habanera, which is rated to about -10. So I'm gonna be well warm. And my Superfly tarp rigged for winter with the pole mod. ULA Catalyst backpack that I walked in. Little auxiliary top pack from an old Kelty that I carry my camera and some stuff in front. Beautiful. Now, one thing I've started doing in winter when I'm getting my meal ready is I've got a double cozy on here now. I made another one. You can see there's 2 layers there. Normally through the year I just use a single, but for winter I added that double layer, and I can get my meal ready and let it sit a little longer. Got my lid in there, and then a regular cozy top, which comes over the sides a little bit, and that will keep my meal really nice while I sit over here and just stare a while. I like it when it gets to be night out here and just sort of sitting by the light of the candle lantern and sipping a cup of tea. But winter camping's about confidence, and just the best part right now is, you know, it's just barely any light in the sky. I mean, an indigo blue. Seeing just all the silhouettes of the trees up here in northern Minnesota, and just sitting out here in the quiet, in the cold, in the snow, all by myself. You know, just to sort of get myself into winter, other than just, you know, shoveling the driveway and snow blowing and making paths and, you know, cleaning the gutter ice off and doing all the stuff that you got to do, and throwing down the sand and the rock salt to melt the stuff because I got a steep driveway and blah, blah, blah. What I think I'll do is just sit here and stare around at all the tiddly bits and enjoy my night. I just enjoy my night, and I hope you enjoy yours. I'll check in with you before I nod off. It's just me and the candle lantern. My little friend who never says anything. Just a quiet little candle. Doesn't even hiss. There's my lovely little trio bar. Little wafer. Kit Katish, but a whole different flavor. Easy to eat in the winter. Yum. Trio. The chili mac from Camp Chow was especially good. And it was wonderful with the HP sauce in it. I loved it. It was a wonderful meal for the woods tonight. Well, it's about 6:15, and I wish I could go to sleep. I'm ready. Oh, my friends, we got a lot of snow in the night. I was having to reach up and bang snow off the tarp several times during the night, but it shed it pretty well. All night I was hearing shoo, shoo. Boy, it's going to be nice out here today. It's so pretty. Might just be hunkering down in the tarp. It's about 4 degrees right now. I'm going to get my stuff. There's my frost bib. Had that slipped up over my head and breathing out onto that last night, and it's caught a good deal of frost, which keeps it off my top quilt here. I really like this top quilt. I like it a lot. It's super warm, and as the temperature's dropping, because now it's like 4 degrees, and it's supposed to get colder throughout the day. I was thinking about it because you can wear this top quilt as like a sarape. You can put it over it. It's got a piece of Velcro Omni tape right here. I don't think I've shown it before, but like right in the middle of the top quilt. I just can't. I'm all fluffed up. It's right here, right there, and I can open that up and slip that over my head, untie the foot box, and wear the whole thing, which is quite handy as a last bastion of warmth. The High Sierra Sniveler. And in case you haven't seen before, I always say, why just have your jacket in your pack? And you can see right there, I just slid it over Sometimes I've been known to slide it over the hammock, but I can't do that with a netted hammock like this Eldorado. So I just slip it over the top quilt foot box, and my feet are down inside there. And you just have that extra down on your feet. It's great. It works. I certainly didn't invent that technique. I read about it years ago, and I always find people just forget about it. And man. Somebody put a lot of love into this. I decided to go cream of wheat. Picked some of this up the other day, had a bowl on a cold wintry day, and it was so good. Cinnabon flavored. Second cup of coffee. I'm alive, I'm awake, and it's beautiful out here. A good reminder about winter camping is just stay zen, man. Breathe. Stay cool. You got a lot of clothes on, so when you're changing, you know, you got to really kind of be flexible, and just everything you do takes a little more energy, so you just got to slow it down, which is not easy for me, but that's reminding me out here. So here's what happens in the night when you're knocking the snow off your tarp. This is my backside, and I kind of built that wall up. Let's show you here without dropping this camera. I kind of had a wall built up right there, and I like my wall back a little bit because what will happen is what sort of happened here was the snow kept sliding off all night and kind of it catches up. And what I want it to do, what I'd rather have is this kind of situation like I got in the front where it has somewhere to drop. Though I did clean that up a little bit this morning. So I got this. I'm plenty good, but I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. Just in case this snow keeps falling all day. And it's slowed down a little bit now, here at about 4 degrees, and that'll be my little project. It was kind of funny last night, you know, you're hearing that snow just go shoo, and then once in a while a snow bomb drops from the trees. When it hit that tarp and wearing that hood, it sounded like a shotgun going off or a gun. And then I realized it was just snow falling. So I got me a real nice little snow wall built up there back from the tarp tonight because the wind is kind of coming up from the lake, which is down that way. Just to keep any spin drift out of there, kind of built that wall up. And added a little bit on the end here where my 2 doors are closed up, and that'll help a little bit. I'll probably add to it through the night. And now I have this little snow wall dug back a little bit, you can see, so any snow that comes down the tarp will fall in and not capture my tarp and pin it. And I dug this one back now on the back side of the tarp, and so now the snow can kind of come down and fall off, and then I'll just tweak it tonight. But that's the leeward side, looking out into this open forest. So there's what I'm looking at right now with the wind coming from that way. Door open to get in and out real quick. It is sitting steady at 5 degrees. Now, one thing I'm really glad I brought, and this is my last bastion of gloves, or what we call here in Minnesota are choppers. And that's my Stormy Chromer. It's leather on the inside, and it's a really nice wool on the outside. And I can slip these on over my gloves, and if my hands start to get cold at all,
these are what really warm up my hands. And I just constantly try to keep the snow off of them. If you're gonna camp here in Minnesota and it's deep snow, and I used to have one of those little hand shovels you grab with your hand, and it would always get my gloves wet. You know, there's just no way to do it. But having this collapsible 1-pound shovel that I bought this years ago, it's by some company called BCA, but Black Diamond, and people sell them. It collapses down to carry on your packs, and having that and being able to keep my hands out of the snow and build the snow wall, dig the fireplace out, I just use it a ton out here. I would recommend one of your group carrying a shovel. You know, to dig with your snowshoes and all that, you can do it to a certain point, but if you're getting snow and you really want to build a snow wall and you really want to clear some stuff, the shovel gets a big thumbs up from me. I've used it a ton today already. A shovel, keep you out of trouble. All right, I just ate one of my, I just ate the other half of that sausage sandwich that I made, and I had it in my pocket all morning. And it didn't really warm it up, but I would say it kind of thaws it out a little bit. And the other thing I really like that I'm wearing, and I talk about them every winter, they're called these Montbell Thermowrap pants. And they got a synthetic insulation in them. They're really slippery, but man, they zip all the way up. And this morning when I was laying in there, I grabbed them out of my pack, I leaned over, put them inside with me up underneath my top quilt and everything, warmed them up, slipped them on before I got up. And underneath I just have on that thin pair of polar fleece tights I always wear, and then just a regular pair of sort of mid-weight. Nope. I have a pair of heavyweight insulated underwear, like a merino wool, underneath that. And that's kind of what I got on my legs right now, and I've been just totally warm all morning. And mucklucks, man, if your feet are cold out in this kind of situation, it ruins your trip. And having these mucklucks, you know, I hiked out here in them. You can see that they're kind of covered in frost all the time. And that's because that's that moisture coming out from your foot getting to the outside, and that's why your foot stays so warm. And right now I just have one big old pair of rag wool socks. They even got a hole in the heel and everything. I slept in them last night, and they come up to my knee so they don't get sucked down into my muckluck during the day when I'm walking around. Set. Woo, buddy. And out in this cold, I'm keeping my camera in this little bag I made that velcros up. Has a little, I made a little flappy part, and what's in there, let me see if I can get it open. I keep a little hand warmer in there. That'll stay kind of in the pouch. And then when I slip my camera in there, put it in my pocket, it's got something kind of keeping it warm there. What I'm using for my camera is my older Sony DSC HX80. Of course, I lost my new one, and this one kept turning on and off, but the problem was the little battery hatch in the bottom, so I just ripped the little door off and stuck some Gorilla Tape on there, because, you know, I kind of hillbilly in half, sort of, and it's working perfectly. I just have to keep it warm, and then I keep extra batteries in my insulated underwear shirt that has a Napoleon pocket. Man, I had to work hard to get that fire going. I laid down a bunch of cold stuff that was, you know, so, because that fire pit was just full of ice and snow.
and built a fire on top, and it was all really cold. And I'm really glad I got my pocket bellows, my blow tube out here. But one thing you got to remember in winter, sometimes all the saliva going through that little thin end will freeze up, and you got to be careful when you put this to your lips so it doesn't stick. It will get a fire going. But I blew on this fire for 30 minutes straight, man. I almost didn't get it going, and it didn't want to go. And I just kept hitting the spots, and you can hear when it hits the sweet spot, it makes that sound. But really, I wanted to get got a big old piece of ham I cooked with some brown sugar on it and some sourdough bread and some hot mustard and some Duke's mayonnaise. I want to temper that off a little bit and eat that for my first dinner. Have an early dinner. Early! And dodge the snow bombs. The wind is definitely picking up out here. Oh, I got a Mountain House beef stroganoff that I've had in my kit for a while, and I'll make that tonight. And then I'm gonna crawl in and hunker down because it's gonna be windy and cold. Yeah. You got a nice big old thick piece of ham in there. Yeah, it is windy. I'm in my happy spot now. It's about 6 in the morning as I sit here and I watch the Pop-Tart sit on top of the, well, I gotta say, this isn't Hillbilly pot. This is my titanium pot because I had to put my cook kit inside my backpack, and when I do that, sometimes Hillbilly pot gets bent up and I didn't want to bend them too much, so I went titanium. Wait for that water to boil. Got the comfortable glow of the Lucy Light. That Lucy Light, I was really kind of glad I brought that. Of course, I slept warm again last night, and I slept long, and I slept many, many hours. Probably 12, on and off. Having weird dreams, good dreams. I dreamt about cake a lot. Some of the most fantastic cakes I ever saw in my life. It was a pleasant, pleasant dream. All right, feel my digits starting to get just a little chilly now, so which always happens when you first wake up until I get that cup of Medagliadoro instant espresso inside of me. Or that Medagliadoro, boy, I can't wait. Either way I say it, it's wonderful. Oh, the glorious moment has arrived. And I'm having my straight up peanut butter pap tart, no chocolate on it. Yep, I crawled into the sack early last night. Early! And mainly because it was so dang windy. All those clumps of snow hung up in the trees, and the wind blows them and they drop on you, and then the wind is blowing so hard it's like in a little blizzard of snow crystals for a while, and just that wind hitting you, man. It was a pretty strong wind for the most part. Once I got here under the tarp, I had my walls built up, man, I got not a breeze or no spin drift or anything came in here last night. I could hear the wind blowing all over the place, but it was still as could be in here. And for that, I say cheers, and I'm thankful. It was worth doing a little work to build those walls, and yeah, nary a puff. Nothing stole my heat. And you know, I just wanted to mention that for a minute. A YouTube subscriber had asked me about if I have a tarp and I have my doors closed and I burned a candle lantern in here, would that add any heat? Oh no, it won't at all. It adds a warmth of light, but if you're going to be a tarp camper in the winter, you're not going to get any heat, but what you do get is you get the wind off of you. And if you can set it up so that the wind is not hitting you, then you don't lose heat. You don't lose the heat that you built up. That's kind of what I got to say about that. Because, you know, winter camping's just camping. It's just a lot more work. It's just a lot more work. Everything just is a lot more work to do. Getting dressed, getting undressed, a lot more work.
Walking around, a lot more work. Setting up your tarp and pitching everything, a lot more work. Running your stoves and getting everything ready and trying to keep your hands warm, a lot more work. But it's worth it for the bragging rights of saying you lived, really. The pep tart and the cup of Medaglia d'Oro instant espresso on a cold winter morning. It do the sugar so good. If I hadn't said it lately, thanks for the support, everybody. Thank you for gift and support. All right, the woods are looking pretty right now, man, in that morning light. Lets you see what I'm seeing. Rocking back and forth. Looks good. You know, I'm on my second cup of coffee now, and I'm just sitting here rocking back and forth. And I don't want to get out of the hammock yet, and that may be one problem with hammock camping, is you just don't want to get out of it. What you gonna do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. You have yourself a sip. You lay back just a little bit. You're talking to a camera because you're out by yourself, and you wonder, do you have any friends that ever want to go with you? Then you think, maybe I didn't ask them because I wanted to go alone, because it's easier to film, because then I don't have to film them and I can just film me. Oh, I am so sassy. Yeah. The pole mod, it just holds your tarp up when the snow is packing down on it and really helps keep it open. And I stake mine in right there. As you can see, I can pull them up or let them down, but it truly does. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, it really does help shed snow. That way your tarp doesn't collapse in. And if you use your pull-outs, like right here, and you got your tarp pulled out that way with some line from the outside, it just creates a flat spot up at the top, and it just catches snow and weighs your tarp down. Now, excuse my flashlight. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all or anything. This is just from experience. There's some people that use 2 or 3 pole mods inside one tarp. That probably even works better, but I find the one very, very effective. That's a little something from me to you just to consider if you're going to go tarp camping. And why tarp camp in the winter? Well, I think most winter campers like to be in a tent. Some even have a hot tent, but I'm just too lazy to mess with that stove all night. But I like waking up and peeking out my one door that's open and seeing that straight away. You may pay a price using a tarp in the winter, but I guess I'm willing to take that risk. Or I just pack up and go home, what I'd do. There's where I slept. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I do like. I do like this war bonnet hood, man. My head has never been warmer sleeping, nor have I ever looked more like a superhero. Mega Man, Mega Man, woo woo. You gotta be a little bit careful when you're pulling these cinch locks with the shock cord, because if you're not, they kind of fly up and you can hit yourself in the face. So if you get something like this, really hold on to that shock cord and pull it in. And it's really cool. It's a good design. You can see in the back, he's got the shock cord going right here. And that's the one that comes down up under your neck. So you can get this thing to come down around your face like that. And then cinch these right here to really cover your face up a little bit better. Like that. But I'm going to trim these a little bit because I keep swatting at them. What's a good feature is it's got this little end here, so you tuck it down in your jacket. And for sleeping, that was real nice. And then there's one in the back too, right there. And you tuck that down the back. You get that back one down in your jacket, and it really, really helps keep the wind from getting in there. And but super comfortable for sleeping. I really liked it for that. But this one, it'll turn with your head once you cinch down those lower ones, and it's just really muffles the noise a little bit. You know, it's got with my balaclava, and I got on my beanie under here. All in all, had a great trip. The wind really was something else. I got a lot of good winter reminders on this, and watch out for that wind because it makes things a lot colder. But I got a beautiful walk out and not too far. So here I go, and I hope my car starts. All secure in Sector 7. Woo, buddy!